Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Resident Rulebreakers. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Camille.
And today's podcast, we're going to be discussing episode 506 called Ask Your Doctor. And yes, we've been gone for a while, 3 weeks.
I feel but here's the thing, you guys. We haven't really technically been gone a while.
We're gone from the Resident Rulebreakers, but we have been podcasting.
I know. We did 4 podcasts a week in 2 weeks straight. And then now we're just doing 3, and we're doing God knows how.
And not only that, real life is been a pain. Okay, I had a wreck on Halloween night and I'm fine. My car got a hole torn in its trunk, so it's been in the shop for 2 weeks at this point. I just got it back today. Yeah, the real life has just been a nutso scenario for me as well. So
and all I have to say is Santa came early for me because I got my brand new laptop. So I'm so happy. It's like a gem. It's so fast. So we're now waiting for Kayla's Santa to come.
I don't think it's gonna happen because I mentioned it to my dad and he's like, no. I was like, I paid. Well, no, he's like, I paid to have your car repaired. So no.
That's your Christmas gift.
Episode 506, titled Ask Your Doctor, written by Marc, Halsey, directed by David Crabtree. It's the first episode in the new time jump world that will be permanent moving forward in the Resident universe.
Gigi is so cute. The little girl who plays
that
Gigi.
Casting is perfect. You can see Nick in her. I know Emily and Remy are not related by any means, but God, that casting is perfect.
She's just adorable. Also, oh my God. She's so cute. And
the girl that plays her name is Remington Evans, aka Remy for short.
Yeah. And her and Matt Zucri as a dad is just adorable.
This is the first time he's played a dad in ever. And he's absolutely nailing it. And it's adorable.
It's adorable. Makes you want to fall in love with him.
Yes, all over again. I think I already did that 15 years ago. So the time jump, I know a lot of people seemed kind of confused, and which makes no sense to me because we explained it not only in article form, but in the podcast and everything else.
Pretty much, I feel like, what's that called? One thing the Resident is doing that might be a detriment to them is they're releasing stuff early. They're telling people what's going on early. You know what I mean?
I think that some of it has kind of stopped because we don't even have titles for episodes that are supposed to air in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So they have stopped that, but it might be a little bit of a detriment. But no, they did reveal pretty much what was going to happen to these characters in 5-6, and so it makes it easier on people to understand, I guess. I didn't find it hard to understand even if I hadn't known about it. They explained with the prologue in the beginning with the Nick and having the baby and everything. They explained it even in the episode, so I don't even understand it.
I mean, look at Gigi. She's not a baby anymore. There you go.
Yeah. And some people are like, I miss her being a toddler. I'm like, well, I don't want to watch Matt Zucri grieve for a whole year. So there.
Maybe fan fiction writers could write their fanfics all about what happened in the past 3 years.
Yeah, that's what fan fiction's for, guys.
I just am not one of those people. I've given up my fan fiction.
I have given up my fan fiction as well. I have too much going on in my real life to delve into a fictional world for too long. I love doing the podcast. I love watching the show, but I have so much going on outside of this that
I feel like in a way I'm burnt out already. Like
Yeah.
This might be my first and last year of doing a Hallmark movie podcast. I'm just
At
like
Christmas time. I mean, other than the fact that they probably should have put some type of little caption up that says, 5 years later or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it was pretty self-explanatory. That would probably be the only thing. But I did write a tweet after the episode, and it was like, just because I've noticed the casual viewers commenting, and I was like, they were confused. So because I know Fox reads these tweets. They've commented back to me, so I know they read them. Maybe so they'll see it.
Yeah, the networks usually pay attention to what their fans are saying and stuff like that.
And I know I'm not a casual fan. I know that. But as someone who isn't one, I can probably speak up for them to make it a little bit easier to understand. That was what I was trying to do. So we have Conrad and Gigi and Conrad's new job.
As a private practice doctor.
Yeah, private practice concierge doctor. A lot of people were like, well, he's not in the hospital. I'm like, but he's still a doctor. Jesus.
Yeah, even if he's not working like fully unless he's like kicked out of the board, he'll still be a doctor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's still practicing. He's obviously, like, Devin makes jokes about it in the episode about him treating rich people with B12 shots and stuff like that. But he also helps people who don't have health insurance and are on the sliding scale fee get treatment that they wouldn't normally otherwise get. So I think that's really cool too. Because believe me, I've been one of those patients, and you get the minimal, and that's about the logistics of what you get.
Yeah.
So Conrad did it to be a better dad. So
yeah, he needed some time. I guess losing Emily kind of like made him prioritize his his family and stuff like that. I mean, he's now a single dad and stuff. So like,
yeah, I mean, what parent wouldn't do that for their child to be able to be there for them? I don't know. The comments, they were like, well, he needs to be in Chastain. He needs to be with his daughter.
Yeah. So. Chastain is still there. So is Conrad.
Yeah. Gigi comes first before anything else.
I know.
So sorry guys, but you would do the same
Gigi
thing for your
so
son.
Cute. The whole episode I was just thinking, oh, she's adorable. But I love the fact that like Gigi, they had like Le Petit Gigi.
and Matt speaking the faux French and the
I know
the tea party. It was adorable. And he let her have ice cream.
I know.
After all. And the way he poured her grape juice like it was wine or something.
Oh, so cute.
Even I didn't get that, and I was raised by a single dad. Come on.
Cute. I want to see Matt in a tea party with the like boa and the little cutesy hat and like drinking tea like this. That's what Gigi one of those scenes. So can you get Matt Zuckery in that?
Yeah. There was also a shirtless Conrad scene in this episode where he had, and a lot of people were commenting, and some people were like, well, he's lost a lot of weight. And I'm like, no, he's just fit.
The tattoo got smaller.
Yeah, I don't know that's probably a makeup issue.
I know. People when I showed that picture on Facebook, they were like, what tattoo? I'm like, oh God.
I'm like, the tattoo that's been there since the pilot, which by the way is fake. That's not
they were all concentrating on everything else but the tattoo. That's what they were trying to say.
I wanted to, because some people were like, he's a little thin, and I'm like, Matt's always been on the trim side. Like,
yep.
So don't know what you're talking about. Conrad and Devin, I love their partnership. I love how they are. The moment, Conrad walks back in Chastain, he's teasing Devin, Devin's now an attending doctor with the fancy office with the shower. which we're gonna bring back up in a moment.
He's adorable. Like, I like the facial hair on Manish.
Yeah,
Like,
I think Manish made a joke about it when they released the photo, and he's like, it's 5 years in the future, and I'm a lot hairier.
I like it on him. I mean, we're like, damn, it's kind of sexy.
Yeah, it is. It is for him. Yes.
And the tousled hair too. The hair.
Yeah, they shaved Tasso a little bit, but yeah. But I love the partnership in this episode between Conrad and Devin because they teamed up with a patient that tried to kill himself, and I really love the fact that they teamed up together again because that's part of the basis of the show was for Conrad to teach Devin his tricks, and now Devin's unattending, so he doesn't need Conrad anymore. But they're still partners; they still team up on things. So I like that.
It's gonna be it's gonna be exciting to see Devin as like an attending now.
Yeah, I like that. And we're gonna get into that case in a moment, but Devin and Lila, but a lot of like. Because it's hinted at that they work all the time and they only see each other at work and blah, 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 despite the fact they've lived together. But they're still strong. They're still together. But the work is taking over their lives, essentially.
Yeah. And Padma, Leela's sister, kind of throwing a wrench in everything.
Yeah, Leela's sister pointing it out to them for them to realize maybe we need to step back and actually focus on our relationship. When Leela comes into the Devin's office, is it? And when in the apartment, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you're like, oh, okay. But no, we knew that Leela had a twin going into the episode. Some people didn't and were really confused, but we did point it out.
They don't look alike.
No.
In my opinion.
No, and I mean, and Anisha and Anuja look very similar, but not enough to where you're like, oh, that's the same person. No.
Yes. I could tell very easily, but there was two different people.
Yeah, but and I love Devin's save where he's like, I don't know how people can mix you two up. You're fun and spontaneous, and you're the love of my life. And I'm like, good save, Dev.
Lila's face was like, you better
watch it.
Words correctly. Say carefully.
But Devin and Lila make time for themselves and use Devin's shower in his office, which, by the way, flashes back to the old Conic scene from the pilot. And a lot of Conic fans were like upset, I guess, because they did that scene with Dila. But I'm sitting here going, they have to move on with this show, and I think it's fitting that they did this. They have to use the shower somehow. And I think it was a hot, smoky scene. So I think I tweeted like the scene is like fire, or the shower scene is very steamy, and I think Fox did tweet back to that one and say that's what showers are for.
Oh no, my shower was never for that.
No. And of course, we just mentioned Lila and Padma. Padma kind of pretty much disrupts Leela's life, essentially coming to visit her and Devin and pointing out, Leela, the workaholic.
Leela said, do you realize how hard I have to work to keep this job or whatever? And I feel like there's a throwback to her dyslexia because she has to work like
double time to try to deal with it. But at the end of the episode, Leela ends up having a day off and ends up going on a road trip with her sister in a van that her sister lives in. But Padma is going to be recurring, or Anisha is going to be recurring as Padma during the season. So we'll be definitely seeing more of her. Padma is also AJ's one of his sleep partners. And Leela even asked him, is it weird that you've practically seen me naked and or something like that? And she's like, no, it really doesn't bother me. This is my sister.
This is so weird though.
But yeah, there was that. And of course, AJ's written a book and he's become famous for, he's doing CNN spots.
Yep.
And he has this book and he's doing book signings, which actually there's a scene from the episode that'll air next week that it's about that. So it's in the promo. But for this episode, yeah, there's that. And he gets teased about it by Belle. And Belle teases him the whole time.
Because it's hilarious because Belle was like, I don't need outside adventures to make me a good doctor or whatever.
I'm like, and AJ
like,
just goes and blasts him. Yeah.
I know. AJ is like, says the man who had a TV show
and a device. And I don't remember what else he said.
Medical supplements.
Yeah. So I'm like, Belle, that's not true. But they were definitely trying to one up each other the whole episode, which I thought was funny. I really thought it had brought some humor to the episode. And they were trying to fight for chief of surgery, which I think Belle being chief of surgery and Kit being CEO, probably, while they're power couple, I'm kind of glad he didn't get it again. Because Kit's like, that would have you didn't like it the first time. I just think it probably would have looked like she was handing a favor to her boyfriend or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Bill and Kit were adorable. Still together, and her clothes are creeping onto his side of the closet. I mean, isn't that normal in every relationship? The woman has more clothes.
Women, most of the time, women have more clothes than men.
Pretty normal, yeah. But Belle and Kit are adorable, and they are, at least according to all the articles that came out prior to the episode, they're considered like the power couple of Chastain. So yeah. Adorable. And honestly, Belle doesn't need to be chief of surgery. He's like 70.
I would be afraid that her dad would be back if he was chief of surgery.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that didn't go there. And with AJ, like Kit even tells him, it's like another feather in your cap. I mean, what else could you not do? Like, I'm kind of glad she did what she did, but I'm kind of questioning the choice of it being Billie. Like, I was like, really, Billie?
I actually like the choice. Why do you have reservations?
It's just like, I know that with Billie's, like, a lot of people don't even like Billie as a character. They're like, she's a Mina replacement. Believe me, that's some of the comments I saw. I don't agree with that. I think Billie's her own character, but I just don't know if Billie, she's only in her like 30s, late 30s, maybe. I don't know if she's got enough experience to be chief of surgery. That's my only complaint for that. Especially since she had all that time where she didn't have her residency. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the thing about it was, think about it. It is like 4 years in the future. So, and stuff. So like, she's had 4 years more since like her time on whatever, since Emily, since what's his name?
Trevor.
Since the whole, Morris Chestnut or whatever. Like,
Kane,
yeah. So she's like, I would presume, have already had time of growth in the past 3 or 4 years that, what's her name, Kit saw or whatever. So she's like, okay, you're doing this. I'm okay with it. Sure, you don't need to be like Belle's age to be chief of surgery.
And honestly, Belle should probably retire. But nonetheless, I still love him, and I still want to see what goes on with that. So I'm still watching. I want to see what they do to that plotline with Billie. I like having seen 2 women in charge. That I do like. 2 very strong-willed women. So I'm interested to see where they take that. Okay, the characters, the cases that were in this episode. The MMA fighter, she was tough. She was tough. She took a licking.
Just yeah.
She actually they were doing like a weigh-in or something, right? And she got punched
in the back.
Yeah, and then she ended up having to have surgery. Belle and AJ had to do surgery on her, so they had to do a multiple step surgery, and then her spine by Billie and Ket.
Yeah.
Because if she didn't, her back would have broke, essentially.
Been paralyzed and not been able to fight.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the scene where they woke her up during surgery, I think was probably one of my favorites in the episode.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like, one, I would not want to be woken up during surgery, especially black surgery. But the fact is, they were showing, I guess, how they do that and stuff.
Yeah. So. I'm just like, I think this was the scene where Kit knew Billie was good for chief of surgery because she had her plan and she took command of the operating room and was all business or whatever. So also, AJ actually respect, you can tell AJ totally was wowed by her whatever. So I'm down for it.
Yeah.
But I know her son is coming back next week.
Yes, he is.
Some drama.
Okay. And then the last plot line I had here for the episode was the patient that Conrad brings in, that he was misdiagnosed with cancer.
And it was
TB.
Yep.
So, and he tries to commit suicide with a box cutter because he can't get a cancer drug that really would have, if he even had cancer in the first place, would have only extended his life, 3 months? It was pointless. So I'm just glad they saved him, and found out what was wrong with him. But that's a typical Conrad Devin thing where they end up realizing that there's a misdiagnosis somewhere. So
yeah, that's pretty much what they've been doing forever.
yeah, typical. And then the drug ad thing, they were pointing out, here in America, for the people who are foreigners who are watching and listening and don't really understand, I guess overseas they're banned, these drug ads are, but here in America they're prevalent. Every show you watch, even on the streaming sites, when you watch commercials, they're there.
Yep.
And it's because the FDA, as I said in the episode, doesn't regulate them. And so we get ads like that sitting in a doctor's office. You hear them all the time. So yep. It's very common here in America. Other things that y'all don't get overseas. They complain about all the commercials that come in through the ad. That's normal. Absolutely normal. Just part of life here in America. We're very commercialized and very capitalized.
Yep.
So don't let those drug ads fool you, because they're trying to market it to make money off of it, essentially. And you just got to know what you're taking. I think that's the case. So we're going to move on. 506 had pretty decent ratings, actually. 3 million, 5.0 demo. That's pretty good. That's higher than the demo's higher than I've seen in a while. 3 million, that's still pretty steady for a same day rating.
That's pretty average.
It's pretty average and very steady so don't freak out over these ratings, guys. They're saying these cancellation predictors are predicting the show is safe. So don't freak out over that. And it's only been 6 episodes, so
yeah. And then when do we get a break?
We get a break in early December until February.
What date?
December 7th to February 1st.
That's a 2-month. God, I'm dreading all of the comments about why is it taking
no,
so
we've already had the comments when I posted it. Anyway, so 5/7, which is next week's episode, titled "Who Will You Be?" The press release says a new group of interns, which includes Billie's son Trevor, start their first day with Devin at Chastain. Should give you some Conrad Devin flashbacks, if you're not mistaken, because that's what that promo gave me.
It wasn't on Hulu.
Yeah, it wasn't on Hulu, but the promo is in the group and it's on our Instagram page. But Kit and Belle try to convince Conrad to come back to Chastain. And the Raptor's mom ends up back in the emergency room. That's part of the promo where she collapses from her cancer treatment. And then meanwhile, Lila and Padma deal with an unexpected visit from their parents. So you're going to get to meet their parents. And I have a feeling so is Devin. More appearances from Anisha Joshi. And their parents are played by Anna George and Bernard White. So other guest stars, Michael Hogan's back, Tasso, Denitra, Miles, obviously Anisha, Summer Selby, who plays AJ's mom, and of course Remington Evans is Gigi. So
yep. Okay.
Yep. And then 5/8, which and then 5/8 releases November 23rd, which is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I don't know why they had to, because you could just give us Thanksgiving week, please.
Yeah, my stress level for Thanksgiving is already on the roof.
But anyway, 5/8 airs November 23rd, and it's called Old Dogs, New Tricks. And Kit hires a surgical coach to watch over Belle and the Raptor and help them brush up their skills. Upon receiving attention from multiple women in the hospital, Conrad contemplates jumping back into the dating world.
Kotick fans are going to be bad.
Well, it has been 5 years for him.
I know, right?
Meanwhile, Devin is working with an elderly couple in this episode. Guest star, you'll see in this press release, Tasso and Jessica and Denitra and Vince and Michael are no longer listed as guest cast. They're listed as main cast. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I'm a little confused why Fox would do that, but they are listed in main cast and not in the guest cast list anymore. But they're all in the
episode. For that episode, or what about the rest of them?
We don't have another press release behind this one. That's why I'm like confused. But Michael Hogan, Tasso Feldman, Denitra Eisler, Jessica Meisel, and Vince Foster are all listed as main cast in this episode, in this press release. The guest cast members that I wanted to reference were Stephen Wallum, who's coming back as Winston, and Anna McKenzie plays Marion. She's the nursery lady. And then, of course, Remington Evans will be back as Gigi. So, Yep. Okay, upcoming episodes that don't have press releases. They don't have titles either. So we have no clue about anything. We can't guess anything. And I'm kind of glad they're kind of keeping it under wraps because I don't really want to know too far in advance, to be quite honest. 5/9 will air November 30th. So 5/10 will air December 7th. That's the mid-season finale. It's 5/10. So, and then we'll go into a break for 7 weeks without an episode or a podcast for that matter. This will allow us to enjoy the holiday season and for Camille to have her surgery and recover.
And we still have to do. We still
have so many Hallmark podcasts to do between now and Christmas.
We're not really calling it a break.
A break from The Resident. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah, we have we're working at 4 or 5 interviews right now.
Yeah, and then 5/11 will air February 1st. The winter premiere will be in February.
Yay.
A lot of people complaining about how long this break is. With the IASTE guidelines that they haven't ramified yet, there's some things to make the set safer for the behind the scenes crew. And I have a feeling they're playing that into the production schedule, letting the cast have a break for the holidays. All these things play into why the show isn't coming back for a while. Because they have to make the show, edit the show, and have time for all this other stuff. So let the cast enjoy their Christmas, please. Or their holiday. That's all I got to say. That's my belief, is that it's a production schedule thing.
I just wish people would stop complaining about it.
Yeah. This isn't the only thing in your life. Can't be. can't be in that time period, like the week prior to the winter premiere. We'll like I said, there will be news and stuff. We'll probably do another news podcast prior to that. Camille will probably have had surgery by then and recovered.
Yep.
So we'll do another news podcast prior to the premiere coming out at the end of January to talk about everything that's coming. And then we'll jump right back into it in February. The Patreon, you want to support us and everything. We have a Patreon account, patreon.com/the resident podcast. The money will be used to help buy me a laptop. I need to replace mine. So essentially, right now it's a Kayla's laptop replacement fund. So there's that. And so, and you get early things like the graphics, the podcast release schedule. You'll get podcast release early there prior to us releasing it elsewhere. So you get things earlier than everyone else. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
There's that. So Hallmark Heartbeats, we have a lot to talk about.
Oh God, what do you want to talk about? We have Jesus. Okay, so like we are doing at least two podcasts a week up until Christmas, because we also have interviews lined up. So over there, this week we interviewed Keith Powell, who was the director of Holiday in Harlem, which aired Sunday night. But yeah, well, we recorded 3 podcasts this week. We interviewed Keith Powell, who was the director for Sunday's movie A Holiday in Harlem. Also,
you might recognize this guy if you watch This Is Us.
From This Is Us, from 30 Rock, from like so many different things.
Yeah.
The other thing that we're working right now on finalizing interviews with several big name actors.
On Hallmark Heartbeats, yeah.
Yeah. But again, we can't say who until everything is confirmed.
At least on Hallmark Heartbeats. But we're really excited to be able to, this is it's a busy time. And I like I told her, I said, I need a breather. And so one of the podcasts she did this week actually was another Hallmark podcaster instead of me, because I needed a breather to be able to deal with life.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a lot of work over there.
Behind the scenes, behind it all, we're busy. How do you contact the Resident Rulebreakers? We have an email address. It's residentrulebreakers@gmail.com. So we also have a Facebook page. So we have that too. It's Resident Rulebreakers Podcast. We have the Facebook group, the Resident Fox Fans. You can join there, and we have the live discussion that happens every Tuesday, Wednesday, spoiler free. We have our Instagram page, which is at the Resident Podcast. And then, of course, Camille's at the Resident Fox Fans. I'm at QB Country 37. And Twitter, which is at Resident Podcast. I still live tweet every episode air day as it's airing at 8 p.m. East Coast time. So next week's podcast will be about episode 5-7, which called Who Will You Be? So until next week, I'm Kayla.
And I'm Camille.
Bye, guys, and have a good week.